Hey everybody, how are y'all doing? This is Andre and Cherish, our first podcast together, and we're in the northern Georgia mountains in the background. Look at that, pretty cool view. We want to start something cool, something real, something authentic about marriage, because no marriage is perfect. Our marriage is not perfect, and I hope we can talk about real talk, about money, finances, submission issue. Um, Accountability issues, trusting issues, all kinds of subjects that we can talk about right here that is going to be real authentic, that we can help each other out, because at the end of the day, we're not enemies. God is for us. Who can be against us is what we believe in our marriage. So I'm really glad that we can come together in this kind of format to encourage moving forward. Even in life, every day we can face children. We can talk about that, how to be healthy with our adult children relationship. I'm a grandparent, believe it or not. So I'm trying to figure that out, that stage, and also having teenagers in our home. Just a lot of subjects that we can cover. Hopefully you can give us a Q&A situation where we can answer down the road what subjects to cover, because we want to be real. We seek help. We have an older couple that in our lives that we listen to, and we just want to be a giver in our lives right now instead of a getter, because I think the first 20 years, most couples are looking to finding a good job, a good home, and 2.5 kids and a picket fence. That's garbage. That's the American dream. We want to follow Christ and the value of being godly marriage, godly family, and godly community. There's a lot of lonely marriages, I believe, and that's why we're doing this. There's no two people is not enough in marriages. Cherish can always vouch in anytime, whenever we want to talk about these subjects. But basically, I want to kick off maybe every week posting discussion, question, hard topics, not just the weather. The weather is cloudy and cold up here. That's garbage. We want to talk about our heart matters. What's important to our heart, to us? What's important, unity in marriage? What's important for our kids? What's important for our community? And what most important for God? Because at the end of the day, we serve a living God. The reason we get married is for God. And we can start off with that reason of this podcast. The podcast is many marriages is about husband and wife only. And that's selfish. That is selfish, because our relationship is with God first. That's why we get married. It's that when we were married, we have a relationship with God, and we love God. But we want to share this love of God to one another. And the closest relationship that we could share is husband and wife. We can share our love, our resources, our time, and then self-sacrifice everything to one another. Another level of marriage. The best picture is Christ. Christ says in Ephesians 5, He gave Himself up for the bride. And I'm learning that every day, how to give up, how to think of others first. And this is the best picture of marriage. And so that's why we're married. I hope you're on the same page, Cherish.
Yeah, not all the time, but trying to get there. And this will be good though. Maybe one of the things that we could begin to talk about is having differences of opinion and how we handle that. And then ultimately what we do to submit to God in obedience so that we can have a good relationship with Him and each other. So we're excited to do it.
Yeah, it's gonna be real talk. Nothing's gonna be like, oh, everything rosy here, everything's beautiful. But with God, everything is beautiful. When it comes to putting it in my hands, then becomes selfish, prideful, and just garbage. But if it comes to God, submitting one another, loving one another, thinking of others first, that's tough. That's why we do this kind of podcast, because you're not alone. You think you're the only one that thinks that, oh, how could, have you seen those older couples? They're like in their 50s, 60s, 70s and been married for 20, 30, 40 years. And you're like, wow, how could they do this? It's first it's God, but second, they deny themselves every day. They give up what they think is important and think of others first. They you notice that the couple are acting like they're like one another. I mean, like, wait a minute, it's just because they think for the other person. They want to do what the other person wants to do. It's just the giving up, and that's what marriage is all about. It's the giving up, surrendering, and loving others. Why? Because God gave that perfect example. He gave himself up. It's tough for the woman, because sometimes, why? Because in Genesis 3, what's the curse say? The woman wants to rule over the man. I mean, Cherish can talk about this in the women's society. Why women have jobs? Why women want to have to be secure? Just in case, because of the curse. The trust is on them instead of trusting God and trusting on the man, which is very tough in this society nowadays. I don't have to tell you about that.
Especially when the men are not stepping up and doing what they're supposed to do as far as leading. So it leaves women thinking they have to step up as well. So it's good to talk about these things.
And many more other stuff that we want to talk about. So we're going to throw in some ideas, some subject. Maybe once a week we'll cover 2-3 subjects to cover whatever. And then when you guys send us some Q&A, like, well, how do you deal with this? How do you cover this? I'm going through this. We're not the best counselors. We definitely want to just be real and share our failures, share what we learned, and grow together with you all.
Yeah, I think overall, if we remember this one thing as we go through these different sessions, is to remember to see the good in each other and know the heart of the other person. That will help you kind of navigate and continue to wade through the waters of marriage and have hope in your marriage. So we're hoping to be hope bringers. And it's neat because even this morning, I didn't want to do this, but it's good because I think if we all see each other as just trying to do something good, then we could press forward and support one another in the end. So I'm hoping that this actually will be good for us as well. And it will help us to encourage others and in turn be encouraged, and it will be a blessing. So
cool.
Yeah.
So keep plugging in. We're going to start posting this hopefully once a week. And moving forward, just really excited and really humble to share a part of our lives with you all, and hopefully you can share part of yours, and that way we could all grow together as a community online. But the best is over coffee. I mean, we can sit right like this and facing one another, and food, of course. I mean, can't go wrong over food. So love to hang out with you all one day face to face. But meanwhile, this is one way to just start off something. It's better than nothing, and I'm excited to do this moving forward. It's a life of giving, and that's what we want to do moving forward. Life is too short, and we want to give God the glory and give our lives to God and to you. So stay tuned.